Virginia Dare and the Lost Colony.
Let's start from the beginning, to the events that led to America's famous unsolved mystery. The year 1492 was the year Christopher Columbus found the New World.
I know that syphilis was running rampant in England at that time. What a lot of people don't know is that some scientists believe it was a disease introduced to the continent by none other than Christopher Columbus after his voyage to the New World.
The settlers found out that it wasn't easy. Even the sail there had hardships. People would get sick, and the food would be horrible, with no fresh water to drink. This particular colony settled in our very own North Carolina, right on the coast, on Roanoke Island. Through all this hardship, there was one thing that uplifted their spirits. The governor's daughter gave birth to a baby girl by the name of Virginia Dare. But their celebration was short-lived, for they were running out of supplies. You see, they had not expected the difficult weather, sickness, and shortage of food, so they begged Governor White to sail back to England to get more. Of course the governor hesitated, because his grandchild was just born, but he had no choice. So reluctantly, he sailed back to England, hoping to get more settlers to come back with him to Roanoke, and also to get more supplies. He didn't know that that was the last time he would ever see his daughter and Virginia again. He planned to go to England and back in 3 weeks, but this turned out to be 3 years until he could go back to Roanoke to see his family again. Shortly after White had returned to England, the Spanish attacked, and war broke out between the English and Spaniards. All the ships of England were used for the war effort, so Governor White's journey back to Roanoke was set back. When Governor White was finally able to sail back to Roanoke after 3 long years, the sight that greeted him was not of his family's smiling faces, but of an abandoned village. The only clue to his family's whereabouts was a carving in a post
Dare stone found in 1937.
Jim, this is an amazing stone. Can you tell me, what does it say?
It talks about the difficult times they had for a couple of years or so. There was misery, and they were attacked by Indians. There were a number of people killed.
Wow.
The front of the stone has a cross at the top, and underneath it says Ananias Dare and Virginia went hence unto heaven, 1591.
I can read that pretty easily here. Once you tell it, it's right there. Okay.
And then on the bottom, any Englishman show John White, Governor, Virginia.
John White is Eleanor Dare's father, and when the colonists had hard times, he goes back to England to ask his boss, Sir Walter Raleigh, for more supplies. When White finally returns, everyone had disappeared. If I see the same level of weathering on the other 47 stones as I did on the first, then they might be legitimate clues to the lost colony. And those clues paint a grisly picture of colonial life. Sickness, misery, and finally, murder.
White hoped to find the colony and his family at Croatoan, which was south of Roanoke on present-day Hatteras Island. He went to go sail there as he was anxious to see his family safe, but a hurricane arose and damaged his ships, forcing him to go back to England. Governor John White was never again able to go search for his family. 117 people just vanished. These are the 5 popular theories of where they might have gone. They might have died of disease, destroyed by a storm, they just simply left, they left Roanoke to live with natives, or they were killed by natives. I agree with the theory that the natives killed the people that were left behind, but I think some escaped. One of the Dare family was alive at least to leave clues as to what happened long ago. There was also a possibility of something else going on.
I can't help but wonder if Sir Walter Raleigh figures into this mystery somehow. He was the man behind Roanoke, the man handpicked by Queen Elizabeth to establish the first colony in the New World. I wonder if he had anything to do with the hidden symbol on the map. Maybe there were strategic motives in play for moving the colony, or even hiding its true location. What I really want to know is more about Sir Walter Raleigh.
Sir Walter is not a lazy man. Everywhere you look, Sir Walter's hand is in the action. And that, I think, is what it makes him so interesting, so attractive. He's a true Renaissance character. He's in there at the beginning, the first phases of European involvement in what is now North Carolina. Well, the land grab is important for Sir Walter. He's a younger son. And in the way of things, the estates have all gone to older brothers, and he doesn't get anything. So now he's a favourite of the Queen. He wants to make something for himself and for his family. From the point of view of the state, what he's looking for is a military base. The other thing, of course, they're looking for is something that the land produces that is worth exploiting back home. Silver and gold would be ideal, but if you can't find those, then useful crops, useful plants, for example, sassafras, which comes up in the early accounts as a useful plant.
At that time, sassafras was considered the only treatment for this New World disease. One of the rumors was that the Queen had syphilis. If that's true, obviously this is one way you can please the Queen, by treating a condition that she may have had or may not have had. Before I can understand the end of the story, I need to travel back to the beginning, the place where the colonists were last seen alive.
We've got the clues left behind by those colonists, evidently. Large letters C-R-O-A-T-O-A-N along the north shoreline on a palisade post that surrounded the location of the houses.
Forensic geology told me that the message on the first dare stone is likely very old. The discovery of quartzite is also consistent with the message being carved on stone local to the area. And both those discoveries suggest to me that the first dare stone found, and maybe the others, are genuine. I'm convinced that the colonists moved throughout the region and left the stones behind as a breadcrumb trail marking where they'd been. Maybe they did go to Croatoan for a time, but the stones suggest they eventually moved inland. I believe the dare stone should have been taken seriously a long time ago. History ignored them because they didn't fit into the story we've been told. But now, my science tells a new story.
I'm friends with the monster that's under my bed. Get along with the voices inside of my